Are we live?
There
Hello,
we are.
live. We are live. We are live, and we are together tonight.
We are together. And don't worry, we're safe. I know I admitted on one of our shows that I had the Rona, but we are. Don't worry, we are safe. We're not 6 feet apart, but we're okay.
Yes. So, real football fans of New Jersey, keeping things safe. We hope you are too. This is episode 142. We are together tonight. We're very excited about it, which means we're also live on Instagram. That's been a hot minute since we've been live there. So,
howdy.
It's a little far away, but if you have questions, we'll, get up. Caitlin will get up and read
Look at my eyeballs. I'll lean in.
She's
for
definitely
you.
got better vision than me. But
He's wearing glasses.
Let's start our show tonight with our poll questions. Normally we do a mix of housewives and football. Straight up, we just wanted to know, we give you guys our football picks.
We're the ones doing the work every week.
We give you guys our football picks every single week.
It's time for you guys to start doing
I truly, because it took me a little while to finalize my decisions on these games.
It was, yes.
And I did have it finalized before I saw everybody else's votes, but I was super intrigued to see what everybody else thought.
A little bit. Keep going.
So we have 4 divisional games this weekend in the NFL playoffs, and we just wanted to know straight up, who are you taking? So the first game that's going to be played this weekend is the Rams, the number 6 seed Rams, against the number 1 seed Green Bay Packers. And Caitlin and I are not going to reveal our picks until a little bit later.
We're making you guys do the work. No, we'll tell you, but we are making you do the work.
I can let you guys know that this was the most votes swaying one way. This was the biggest difference. 85% of our voters took Green Bay. Not necessarily surprised because I am kind of surprised that the Rams did make it past the Seahawks in that first round.
Obviously, that was one of our non-wins last week.
Yes. So strong majority, obviously a 1 seed versus 6 seed, that's going to happen. But our second game, I think this is going to be a great one. The Buffalo Bills, the 2 seed against the Baltimore Ravens, the 5 seed, right? The 5 seed. Yes, the 5 seed. 5. 76% of you guys took Buffalo.
The Boofs.
Very hot team right now. People are loving them. And
I'm definitely loving them.
Yeah, that's going to be a great game
see.
For sure.
I'm liking, the fans throwing themselves in the tables again. I've missed it. I missed the Bills Mafia.
Fans back in Buffalo.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
They're back.
And potentially expecting snow this weekend for that game. So Lamar Jackson did come out and say he has absolutely no experience playing football in the snow. I guess he's never done it before. And so he's really not looking forward to it if it happens. We'll see if that will be a factor.
A snowy game.
And then we have the 6 seed Cleveland Browns. That was an upset as well, beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. They will be facing the number 1 seed Kansas City Chiefs. 68% of our voters took Kansas City. I'm kind of surprised it wasn't higher.
A little bit more, yeah.
But listen, that Cleveland Browns offense specifically has really been on fire these last few weeks.
And there's always a team that comes into, I don't want to say sneaks into the playoffs because I think they're very, very well deserved. Their
11 and 5.
There is always a team that comes into the playoffs though and makes things exciting. So clearly they lit up the field last week. They lit up the Pittsburgh Steelers on a defensive front and also offensively as well. So I think teams are excited. They saw what they can do when they are hot. They can go against this team and continue to be hot. So while I do agree with you, I thought the number would be higher. I think people's mindsets were they probably sat down here too and was like, wait a minute. My gut feeling probably tells me Kansas City, but the reality is the Browns could potentially come out.
Listen, you always got to expect some upsets because they clearly happened last weekend.
Baby.
I think I said on the show, I was a little bit nervous with how conservative I was with my picks. And we ended up going 3 out of 6, and those 3 were kind of, upsets. So
for sure,
you got to think about, is there going to be an upset this weekend? Or are we going to see a bunch of 1 and 2 seeds go on?
I don't know. I kind of hope not. You like to see multiple people in the picture as I wear my Alabama shirt.
Well, this last game that we have for you guys, this is a division rivalry. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the 5 seed, against the 2 seed New Orleans Saints. They did obviously play twice in the regular season, and New Orleans actually has Tampa Bay's number 2-0.
They did.
Hard to sweep a team 3 times in a season.
It is, and that one loss was a horrendous loss with Tampa Bay only scoring 3 points.
They were kind of both big losses, to be honest.
Yeah, but I do think the second game was a little bit better, a better showing from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Right.
It wasn't the best showing
But
in the
still
world,
not,
and
not close games, either one.
Both games, though, do show that the Buccaneers have just gotten progressively better over the season as well.
Yep.
So I think a lot of people are looking forward to that Baltimore-Buffalo game. But to me, this is a second, close, a runner-up to, exciting games. But what does it look like for
this
our fans?
was our closest one by far.
They're thinking
separated by just 2 votes. 51%. They will do it. Saints will prevail.
And that's from Hot Dog City One.
Hot Dog City
Put you
One.
up on the screen. They will do it. Saints will prevail.
Well,
we will see.
51% agree with
with
Hot
you,
Dog City.
Hot diggity dog. They agree
Again,
with
just
you.
by 2 votes, I think this is going to be, I don't know. I would like to see a close game. Listen, we don't have a horse in the race. I want to see all these games be good. And certainly we will give you our picks in just a little bit, but I was super intrigued to see what everybody else thought. And we had an outrageous number of votes. So thank you guys for that. And I can't wait for these games. Playoffs have been great so far.
Someone commented on our Instagram, and I think it's my sister, and I can't see because I am blind. Oh, let me look. I don't know, something with it. No, and it's not my sister.
Far.
It's someone else, something with the game. I'm so sorry. I want to see your comment on Instagram, but I can't because you're too far away. So please head over to our Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube and comment because I can see those comments like Hot Dog City One. I can't stop saying that Twitter name. I like it. I like it. Love it. Okay, so yeah, thank you guys for voting. We had so much engagement with these polls this week. Keep it coming. We love that. If you guys have any hot takes, any questions for us live during the show tonight, get them in.
Absolutely.
Not on Instagram because I can't see, but send them over on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. We are here and we are going to get it going. So, all right, let's get to our big stories of the week for football. Moving into the NFC East, some drama llama with the head coach of the Philadelphia.
Some drama llama in the NFC East.
Always wouldn't be the NFC. Oh my God, East without it. Excuse me. But Philadelphia Eagles, they're moving on from Doug Pederson. They have fired their head coach there. So again, I think, moving into this week prior to this happening, I think a lot of people thought he was safe. I thought he was safe. He had meetings with management last week, has spoken to the press a couple times, even just, Eagles, fans, Eagles Twitter out making commentary. It all seemed that the football world, the NFL world was kind of in this consensus that Doug Pederson was fine. Mm-hmm. But in reality, on Monday, Philadelphia did fire head coach Doug Pederson after 5 seasons with the team. That included their first Super Bowl win in 2017. So obviously this year, though, very poor showing, a 4-11-1 record, and the controversial Week 17 to play Nate Sudfeld. Still mad about you about that. Okay, so we did have the person on Instagram come over to YouTube. Thank you so much. Just Your Average Sports said 38-3 was the second game. Oh, so I was wrong. I thought that was the first game. So thank you for calling me out. I knew it was one of the bad games. 38-3 was the second game between the Buccaneers and the Saints, and Brady threw 3 interceptions. So we will actually get in there. So Just Your Average Sports, please stay tuned because we're getting into the games later and we're going to tell you the key to win, the key to lose probably too in these games. And hey, we might be talking about interception. So thank you for that comment. I obviously screwed up. I thought that was the first game, but the fact that that was the second game, ooh, not good. Not good, Buccaneers. But back to Philly. So yes, obviously that Week 17 decision really wrapped up a poor season for the Philadelphia Eagles there. According to Ian Rappaport, though, the decision to fire Pederson came down to one thing. And it was basically Pederson was tired of people telling him what to do, which is a little ballsy coming from a head coach.
You just still have to answer to people.
You're not the owner.
There's a GM.
Listen, if I'm, John
you're the head
Mara,
coach, but you're not the head honcho.
John Mara, owner of the Giants. I don't want anyone telling me what to do. Right. Because guess what? No one's telling you what to do. Unless
I write the checks. No.
This is my house. Doug Pederson, that's not your house. You might have a statue outside of Lincoln Financial of yourself with Nick Foles, but you ain't the head man. And now that statue's kind of awkward in my opinion. And I've seen it in person. It's a little weird. So he leaves Philly with a 42-37-1 record. Can't believe that tie comes from this year. It's hilarious.
So annoying.
3 straight playoffs appearances from 17 to 19. So that's not a terrible resume to have right there.
Right.
And then rumors have officially started. You know who's going to replace him. So there's so many names in the bracket here.
I'm actually kind of surprised that we are with you guys this week and we have no head coach hires yet.
I know.
But I know a lot of them are in the interview process, and of course there's some candidates that are still playing in the playoffs, so that makes it tricky as well.
Well, listen, Urban Meyer, apparently Jacksonville, the offer is out on there, so it's in Urban Meyer's court right now. You read that while I wrap this up here.
Pederson lost respect from his club, and the team was going in the wrong direction after winning the Super Bowl. I'm a Giants fan. The Eagles didn't give us anything, but it was a blatant flop for a loss. Yes, agreed.
100% agreed. Just Your Average Sports, killing it with the commentary tonight.
Thank you.
Keep it coming. So the rumors have started swirling for the Philadelphia Eagles' new head coach. Yesterday it was reported that they've already reached out to Oklahoma head coach Lincoln Riley.
So people turning to college football.
But guess what? So obviously Urban Meyer has taken a little bit of a siesta. So he's coming back. A couple other head coaches in the mix. So you do have Lincoln Riley. You do have someone else. I'm blanking on it right now. So please forgive me on this. The teams that are looking at them, though, are the New York Jets and the Philadelphia Eagles. When you jump from college to the NFL, you're almost taking a step back. And I know some people listening might be like, whoa, but you don't see, like, Nick Saban goes from the Dolphins to Alabama, and he is sitting pretty in college. College coaches really make do. They're in nice college towns. They make bank. They make more money than head coaches in the NFL most of the time, making millions of dollars on end. Their family, they have free housing. They have all of this stuff. They're there for multiple years, not like the NFL where it's cutthroat for head coaches.
Like
the turnover rate even recently is crazy. So
I said it the other day. I was talking about it, and I'm actually not a fan of bringing people in from college. I'm just not. I think if it were going to be like anybody, and I'm not throwing Nick Saban in because I think he's not going anywhere. But I really like Jim Harbaugh. Like, I don't understand why he was fired from the Niners. I would be more than welcome to see him back in the NFL. But other than that, I don't understand why people are turning to college when there's so many names and so many candidates that are in the league right now playing the NFL game right now. So I'm not a huge fan of it.
What college coaches need to understand now, though, if
Saleh ends up with the Eagles since the Jets didn't long him down, good or bad for Giants fans. I really do not want Robert Saleh to go to the Eagles.
So
I'm pissed off.
It's bad. So it is bad there. So yes, that is a name.
I don't want him to go to the Jets either because I like him and I don't want to see his career die. But
he is a big name coming out of today as well as a hot candidate for the Eagles. So back to like the college, like moving from college to the NFL, especially these young guys that they're talking about today. These young, and when I say young guys,
like just trying to find
these guys are like
these
guys are like 37 years old. If you're making the jump to the NFL, you're making a Sean McVay jump. You are making your decision and you're landing on a team. Do the Rams need work? Absolutely. But you're landing on a team that already has their franchise quarterback. They have the main pieces of the puzzle. Are they going to need work? Sure. You're not transitioning from college to the Philadelphia Eagles or the New York Jets. You're
not being set up for success.
You're not doing that. So I don't think that these coaches should be
doing
things like that. So wrap it up there. But great commentary, guys. Keep it coming.
Yes. Let's talk about Wild Card Weekend, and we're also going to throw in our thoughts about the College Football National Championship.
I almost knocked anything over.
Oh my God. If she knocked that over, I want to let you guys know this is one of her strongest holiday pours I've seen in a hot minute. If she had knocked that over, we would have had to do a timeout on the show here. But let's talk about this weekend in football, and obviously on Monday night too with college football. Great stuff. Buffalo had their first playoff win since 1995 with a 27-24 win over the Colts. That was a great one. That was the first game of the weekend, and it kicked things off in a nice close game. The Rams, they upset Seattle 30-20. Was not expecting that, but the defense really pulled through. They had 5 sacks and an interception against the Seattle offense. That's the key to winning a football game. Defense wins championships. And honestly, I feel as though even though everybody was so gung-ho on the Packers, with picking the Packers for this upcoming weekend, I think the people who did pick the Rams are doing it because they believe in that defense and what they could possibly do to Aaron Rodgers.
You got it. The consistency from that defense throughout the season, you really.
I mean, it's what got them there. It really is.
No,
I mean, and Jared Goff is injured. Like he's playing with a fractured or broken finger on his throwing hand. So Tom Brady, he now has 31 career playoff wins, most by a quarterback since 1950. He had a
all right, just show off.
Him and the Bucs had a 31-23 win over Washington. But I don't want to talk about Tom Brady. I want to give props to Taylor Heinicke. I really do, honestly. He started for Washington. Alex Smith still banged up. He had 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. He did throw a pick, but he threw for 306 yards. And I really feel as though, I mean, that game ended up being much closer than I think people thought.
I think Heinicke brought a lot of passion and excitement to the game.
I mean, this was a kid who had nothing to lose. And sometimes that's the most dangerous thing that you can go up against. It really is. So,
kids, extending arms for touchdowns. He's, moving and he's up and down.
So you want to almost look at it and say like, well, the Bucs won because Alex Smith didn't play. Heinicke probably had just as good of a game that Alex Smith probably would.
And Alex Smith is not at 100%, people. He's still a banged up Alex Smith. Listen, do you want a banged up Alex Smith? Yeah, I'm taking Alex Smith. It doesn't matter. But
this decision to play him, it makes sense to me. I mean, the kid did a great job, I thought.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, he led Baltimore to a 20-13 win over the Tennessee Titans. Surprised that wasn't higher scoring. But he led them with 136 rush yards and 1 rushing touchdown. Did it on his feet. When he does that and he's going off like that on his feet, he's hard to beat.
Yes.
Dr. Seuss. New Orleans, they beat Chicago. This was the most lopsided one of the weekend, 21-9, fewest points allowed by New Orleans in a playoff game in team history. So that defense came up big. It came up big too because Chicago has been, one time we were on the show and we're like, Chicago's had 30 plus points for like 6 straight games now.
Well, that was the biggest, commentary going into this week, that they finally connected on offense. You have Matt Nagy finally giving you finally have him giving, offensive play calls, the offensive coordinator. Mitch Trubisky's kind of getting his swing on things. Nagy's actually coaching as opposed to doing the play calling, and things are finally connecting. And that's why those past 6 games are doing that. And then we enter this game against the New Orleans Saints. Clearly, obviously, Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara are back.
Right.
But it didn't show in this game.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'll read that for you. I think I'm closer. The Rams play damn good defense, but those two are divisional rivals. And the third game played against each other going into Lambeau against a team you haven't seen can be tougher. I got Green Bay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it is when you play against a divisional opponent.
Highlight here, 100% agree right there.
Yeah, when you do play against a divisional opponent, and we say this constantly on the show, it doesn't matter if like when Tom Brady was still with the Patriots and they were playing the Jets, like anything can happen when you play a divisional opponent. Like it doesn't matter what your record is, what their record is. They know each other and they know how to play each other and usually get your best out of your team. So I agree. I think this is going to be a much bigger challenge for the Rams, especially going up against Aaron Rodgers and that offense.
100%.
What else do we have? We have Cleveland upsetting the Pittsburgh Steelers 48-37. This is the tale of 2 halves. Let's just talk about that.
It's a tale of what I don't even know what to call it.
But Baker threw for 3 touchdowns while the defense for Cleveland picked off Big Ben 4 times. Now, I do want to add that Big Ben did also have 4 touchdowns.
Yes.
That first quarter for Big Ben was probably the worst quarter of football he's ever played in his entire NFL career.
And it was so... bad things happen throughout a game, and it's like, all right, quarterback had a bit. A lot of that badness from the Steelers and a lot of what the Browns advanced on happened like in the first call, like
yes,
instantly.
Yes.
It all happened within 15 minutes. And that 15 minutes felt like 5 minutes. That's how quickly all of this happened.
It crumbled very fast.
Very, very fast. So I actually give them credit for them being able
back
to
in
come
it. I was going to
back
say
in
that,
it.
yeah.
Because if I crumbled, I saw that score at the end of the first quarter. People were saying the Browns were going to go up 117 to nothing. And listen, it was at that point, it was doable.
So I think we can both agree that the Pittsburgh defense was really like the solid, strong point of that team.
As
right?
they have been for the
so the offense for the Steelers really got them in a hole in that first half. But I do really commend them for coming back and making it a game. But the issue was in the second half, the Steelers kept scoring and it was like, great, they're inching closer. But then the Browns would have their very next drive and the defense that had been so strong for them all year kind of collapsed on them. The Browns would score again, and they just kept trying to inch closer, and the defense couldn't shut the Browns out.
The ping pong match for offense, scoring, and we did see a lot of high-scoring games this weekend, makes sense. But when you get up that much, one team in the first quarter, it's really hard for that other team to come back when that ping-pongness goes on for the rest of the game. You needed the Browns to make multiple decisions in a row for the Steelers to actually technically have, a chance.
It was a wild game. It was truly a wild game.
Listen, the game could have gone either way. I know we both picked Pittsburgh. I just didn't see the Browns winning in that fashion.
I don't think anybody did. I think it was very jaw-dropping in those first, like you said, 5 to 10 minutes.
Yes.
And then let's, of course, talk about college football, the national championship. Congratulations to Alabama beating Ohio State 52-24 to win the college football national championship. Of course, behind two studs of quarterback Mac Jones. He had 464 pass yards and 5 passing touchdowns, and wide receiver Devonta Smith, 215 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns.
Please go to the Giants.
I would love for him to go to the Giants. I would love it.
Obviously, I just have a big old roll tide for all my fellow Bama fans out there. Truly a tremendous game from start to finish. Truly, it's a tremendous undefeated season from start to finish.
Yeah.
First time we've gone undefeated in the SEC. Just so proud of this team and just an unstoppable team. Alabama is unstoppable year after year. Obviously last year a bit of a downfall, but still a good team. This year, though, probably one of the best teams that Nick Saban has coached.
Yeah, I can agree. I don't even watch college football that much to know that this was a squad.
Yeah, honestly, though, big other shout outs to Najee Harris. Amazing season on his behalf, but came out strong too. We needed him in this game. He did his job. You did have Jalen Waddle out there a little bit, and Waddle did he waddle. So he was a lot of people taking to Twitter that he shouldn't have been out there. But listen, guys, one of the most, amazing and most impactful player for Alabama. Yeah. He thought he could get out there a little bit, hobbled around, was only in on a couple plays. Unfortunately, Devonta Smith had to exit the game with a finger injury. The Tide kept rolling forward. And we got to see at the end, offensive lineman guard Landon Dickerson take a couple snaps. He did blow out his knee a couple weeks ago. Tremendous loss, tremendous offensive lineman. Listen, the Giants can get him too. Okay. But to see him come in, he carried Nick Saban off the field. So it was just truly an outstanding night. Good, great. I wouldn't want to say great effort by Ohio State. And that's not a sarcastic comment. Alabama was a very tough team to go up against this year.
Yeah.
I give a lot of credit to Florida. They played Alabama tremendously. I actually would have loved to see Florida in the playoffs.
Mock drafts got Smith going to Philadelphia, Waddle possibly going to Giants. Listen, we've got Jamar Chase, we've got Waddle, and we've got Smith. And I expect all three of those guys could be gone in the first 10, definitely probably the first 15 picks. And we're not stupid.
If Devontae
we know that the Eagles are likely to take a wide receiver at that 6th spot. So.
If Devontae Smith goes to the Philadelphia Eagles and Jalen Hurts is throwing to him, I am going to plummet my body off. I cannot deal with my Bama boys going
Tom Coughlin comes out of retirement and is the new head coach.
That'll set me up. That will set me off.
Yeah.
That'll be my...
But listen, and I know we're talking about the receivers, and obviously the Giants are going to be looking at 11. The Eagles are going to be looking at 6. But I also am a huge mock draft reader, and I'm seeing a lot of Mr. Mac Jones to the Patriots at 15.
So I would like to confirm
Give me your thoughts
here.
on that.
So Mac Jones is not declared for the NFL draft
Right.
yet.
We can say that.
I actually do not recommend that he, it's actually pretty much news to me over the past couple of weeks. The more and more so mock drafts he's in, the more and more confidence people have that he will declare.
Yeah.
My knowledge up until like 5 weeks ago is that he was going to go to his senior season at Alabama. Look at all the guys on Alabama's roster this year. All these guys that we're talking about right now, they chose to return, not to enter the draft last year. So
with Pederson gone, it might be Wentz.
well, that is true. So I have
started
that.
play him.
Yes. Put Wentz in.
That would be nice.
Give us Jalen Hurts, just to have him. So
my favorite tweet, like when that whole week 17 fiasco went down, was like, if they really wanted to tank, why didn't they just put Carson Wentz in?
It's true. That probably would have shown. He didn't even dress. But yeah, so the Mac Jones thing, I want to give it. I want to give it a couple more weeks. Obviously, last year I actually had strong opinions on Tua entering the draft. I did not think he should, and he did. I will support Mac Jones on any decision that he makes. But as of right now, I do see him in mock drafts. But I would prefer if he just please stay at Alabama.
That's a total wait and see.
I think he needs another year, and I'm just saying.
It is fun as like a sports writer. Columnist, analyst, to like throw them into your mock drafts and kind of guess.
Stop driving Caitlin crazy. Stop putting Mac Jones in your mock drafts, please.
It's fun. It's
you
fun.
keep her up at. You keep me up at night.
Let us have our fun.
I've got nightmares. Alrighty, so we are getting into, and I switched my page too quickly, but not too quickly. It is the divisional rounds of the playoffs. So as we've done every week for you so far, we are giving you our picks. Obviously, we've moved into the playoffs, so we're not giving you a lock and an upset. We're just giving you our straight up picks. But we've got 4 games to choose from here. Katie and I obviously went 3-3 last week. So maybe
we had the same ones.
We had the same one. So maybe who knows what we'll have similar this week. And maybe we could do a little bit better. So I thought we'd do a little better last week.
Yeah.
But why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
So I think because we went very conservative last week. I was like, okay, this week, even though I might feel a certain way, I have to throw in one technical upset. That is what I did. I have one upset and the rest was safe. I went with the Packers, the Bills, the Chiefs, and I did go with Tom Brady and we have the same exact, right?
So for another week in a row, maybe that's our problem. We can't agree with each other.
At least let one of us be right.
I know.
When we do it together, it's like, oh,
but
we either soar together or we go down together. Ride or die.
Go down, then we'll go down together. And that's a Chainsmokers song. Okay, so I'm going with the Packers as well. The Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, and I too am going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think when I sat down with the same mindset as you, is that, you've got to look at it and see what's going on and just see what can we do differently a little bit. So
I was like, it can't be all the 1 seeds and all the 2 seeds. I almost did it. And I was like, you know what? You can't. You got to switch it.
I swear to God, if we move on and it's the Rams, Ravens, Browns, and Buccaneers, I don't even know what to tell you.
We've got more predictions. I'm going Bills, Packers, Browns, and Bucks. All right.
Where's my cursor? Here's some picks here. Bills, Packers, Browns, and Bucks. Okay, so you guys are listening now live. Please send us your picks. And we will totes show them on screen. But those are our picks. So obviously our biggest upset here is the Buccaneers. Right. And again, we're going to talk a little bit later. We're going to play, similar game that we played last week. And we're going to tell you guys. We picked these teams to win. We're going to tell you why we think they're going to win. Yep. So we got a like on Twitter. I can see it on my phone. I like it. I like it. All right. Well, let's get into our big stories of the week in the world of housewives before we jump back to football. I feel like we always have relationship updates with these ladies. And this one is certainly had me intrigued. Oh, I was excited about this one. This one is about our gal, Bethany Frankel, and her ex-boyfriend, Paul. This past week, Bethany was spotted holding hands and also sitting on the lap of her ex-boyfriend, Paul, while they were together in
Miami.
They never broke up. They never broke up.
The two were visiting an art studio with Bethany's daughter,
Yep.
Brynn. I mean, that's pretty big.
You don't bring the children into it.
Just 3 months after the two broke up in October.
3 months ago?
Yeah. Yep.
I feel like we just.
Do you feel like it was longer? Or
No,
like
no,
shorter.
It was shorter.
It was in October. Bethany has yet to address her status with Paul with this new revelation here that we have come across. But she did tell Ellen on the Ellen DeGeneres show, like pretty soon after the breakup, that things, did not end badly, and that she was happy and they were both okay with it. And sometimes she was like, sometimes things just don't work out. But the breakup also ironically happened right after Bethany appeared on Watch What Happens Live, where Andy specifically asked her if her and Paul had talked about marriage. I mean, sometimes, who knows? Maybe that was like a hot button for them. It could have been like, well, yeah, should we be talking about marriage? Or like, you know what I mean? That's kind of like awkward.
And sometimes that happens with people and they like decide to end things, but then like 3 months goes by and you're like,
this wasn't what I wanted.
I can't live without this.
Yeah.
I do want. It happens.
Yeah. She also revealed on that episode of Watch What Happens Live, which was shocking to all of us. We talked about it on the show, that she was still legally married to her ex, Jason. I mean, that's only 3 months ago. So I'm pretty sure that that's still going on, which is insane. And that could have added to a discussion or a fight of like, well, why would we ever talk marriage if you're not technically even available? 100%. You're still married to somebody else. So
you're still married.
I mean, that could have been a sensitive subject, but the fact that they ended on good terms, I would think that they probably stayed friends. I know like there were times her and Dennis would split and they would still stay very much so a part of each other's lives. So I wouldn't be surprised to hear that her and Paul like still talked, still were very cordial. And then probably, like you said, like just realized that they missed each other and that they wanted to be, I know he was very close with her daughter. And so you'd have to think that her daughter is older now. It's not like she was really young and kind of just forgot about him. Like she probably missed him a lot too. And but I do hope if he's back, which I mean, you're sitting on his lap in front of your daughter, like you're doing PDA in front of your daughter. Like, let's just hope he's back. And because I really like them together. I really want to see her happy, and hopefully that's him, because they were cute together. So
I agree. I was very happy when I saw them.
Yes. Did you see the pictures? Very lovey-dovey.
It was cute. Like their masks, like it's all cute.
Yeah.
All like, not socially distanced, but following the rules.
Yes.
So it's cute when people follow the rules.
Gotta love it.
Listen to me. Follow the rules, people.
Yes.
You never know. Follow them.
Well, we'll keep you posted on that. I would certainly love to see that reunion for sure.
Alrighty, into our second stories of the week, a very popular franchise that we always talk about. There's always stuff going on, and we just had a big exit from Potomac. Yeah. But with an exit, we're looking at potentially 2 new entrances, so potentially 2 new additions to the Potomac family. So a source recently stated that Bravo is looking to hire 2 new housewives for season 6 of Real Housewives of Potomac. This comes after Monique Samuels announced she was exiting after the reunion. We gave you guys that information a couple weeks back. So that was at the end of season 5. So there is a quote here from the source, and that it is, Potomac needs to fill Monique's role on the show. Before Monique quit, production was anticipating following the aftermath of Monique and Candace. Will they reconcile? So that was the big thing. Like, one of them was leaving. So,
we're not getting closure on this situation.
Will the cast remain divided? Now that she's gone, they'll need to explore new people.
That's always tough. I mean, Bravo clearly wasn't expecting Monique to leave. And then, it leaves a lot of holes. It leaves a lot of things that, when you have a strong cast member, especially one that people like, and you have plot lines, you do have stories with, I don't want to call them characters, but
they technically are.
Right. Like you want to see where things go.
You're creating a story no matter what, whether it's reality TV, whether it's your fake show, whether it's your book, whether you're doing marketing for a company, you're creating a story, an experience for people. Right. So you have to, these things can't break. Like, and this was clearly a break in, Potomac and Bravo and all of Housewives. And they were like, well, we got to fix this here.
I feel like as though we see a lot more of either mutual breakups with Bravo and some of these ladies, or they get fired. So for her to like quit on them, it definitely caught them off guard, and they've really got to kind of rush to put their
Yeah.
casting hats on and figure out who's going to fill these shoes.
Well, they have done just that. So the producers have reportedly started casting already for season 6 last week. Robin had shut down rumors that she had been fired by Bravo, and her, Giselle, Karen, Ashley, Candace, and newbie Wendy are all supposed to return next season.
So we have a newbie, gonna have 2 new faces. So like you said, this is a very popular franchise, and you always just want to see, you know, all the franchises succeed, and
but
especially
we've been doing well with new people.
We
so
say
I don't.
Every single week we are
bad.
always talking about new cast members, and we are always saying that they've been on a little bit of a hot streak lately. So
I don't see anything bad about this. It could potentially be a good thing with, again, like I said earlier, a franchise that is apparently hot. So I couldn't get any hotter.
I'm starting to think that with these new cast members, I feel as though they're only bad if they don't add anything to, like we just said, the story.
Right.
So I feel as though we've seen, even though, for example, when what's her face came on to Jersey,
Margaret?
Jennifer, I was blanking. And I remember, I hated her when she first came on because she just walked in there and lit the room on fire and just was went after everybody and all the drama. And at first I hated her, but I understood why they brought her back because she adds to the story. Yeah. She adds to the drama. I feel as though the people who are just as exciting as the wallpaper, that's when they don't succeed. Yeah. So we had somebody like Leah come in and the tiki torches on fire, and
we ate that shit up. We really liked it.
And so these women who are kind of not afraid to just jump right in and maybe the drama doesn't involve them, but they just give their 2 cents.
Be yourself, go in. I feel like that's how. Well, kind of how it's getting. I don't like confrontation either, though. But I'm a little cray.
But it's reality TV, so we like watching it. You gotta watching the drama. So
I don't think I'd like to be yelled at on TV.
Oh no, definitely not. But I mean,
I'll
watch it.
I'll watch it. Yelling. It's I don't know if I can survive.
Yeah, no, I definitely couldn't survive. I'll watch it, but I can never be a part of that. All right. Well, let's get into our game. Like we said, this is pretty much almost exactly the same as we played last week, but it's big success, a lot of fun to look at and break the games down. We are calling this game the divisional round breakdown. Like last week, we take a look at the divisional round matchups for this weekend and fill in the blanks for some game predictions. We do have some bonus questions at the end. But let's start. We only have 4 games, less than last weekend. Not as much homework to do here. But let's start with the Saturday games. We have the number 6 seed Los Angeles Rams versus the number 1 seed Green Bay Packers. So same fill in the blanks as last week. The Rams will win if blank.
Listen, that number 1 defense has to show up. We know that Aaron Donald is suffering a rib injury, but he did jump back on the field a little bit. Well, he did exit the game.
Yeah, we expect him to play.
We expect him to play. And listen, he's a tough guy. When big, tough guys like that get injured, it's almost like his rib cage just morphed back together. He's okay.
Yeah.
Think about when Steve Weatherford was the kicker for the New York Giants and he broke his ankle, but he was so strong that he broke it, but they were you're okay though. That's how these physically monstrous, muscular people are just
it's crazy, but you're not keeping Aaron Donald from a divisional round playoff game.
Oh, no,
so,
absolutely.
He's going to be out there.
You might keep Jared Goff because you're an idiot. You're an idiot franchise, but from the playoffs. But things so that number 1 defense has to be there.
Absolutely. I am actually going to go with the offense and say the Rams will win if Cam Akers in the run game can keep their offense on the field and Aaron Rodgers off of it.
Okay.
So that's always, time of possession is always a huge factor in who wins the game. So if you can tire out the Green Bay defense and you can have the run game not only tire them out, but run the clock down and keep Aaron Rodgers on the sidelines from scoring points, that's the key to the game for the Rams. The Packers will win if blank.
I wrote it snows because
it ain't snowing in Los Angeles very often.
But yeah, so You need offense. You need that dual threat at offense. You need the running and the passing game. And again, like you just said, they want to keep Aaron Rodgers on the field. The offense needs to stay on the field.
Absolutely. The Packers will win if their Pro Bowl and all-pro caliber offensive line holds off the Rams' D-line long enough to let Aaron Rodgers air it out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's huge. That might be one of the best offensive lines in football. Mm-hmm. And they've got a big task going up against that Rams defense. But if they can keep Aaron Rodgers like upright and able to air it out, they'll be good to go. The quarterback with the most passing yards will be blank.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. The running back with the most rushing yards will be blank.
People are calling this the game of the two Aarons, Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Donald, but I'm calling this the trifecta because Aaron Jones is going to get them.
The trifecta. I like
the trifecta of Aaron.
Yeah. I actually went with mentioned his name before. I'm going to go Cam Akers. He's been on a little bit of a hot streak lately, so I think it continues. The wide receiver with the most receiving yards will be blank.
Going with Devontae Adams.
The MVP of the game will be blank. Rodgers. And the final score, I'm always intrigued by the scores. The final score of the game will be blank.
I'm keeping it close because I do think the Rams defense will get them points. Very similar to like last week when the game was like 3-0. And then I looked over and it was like randomly 20-0 or 20-3. And I was like, what the hell happened here?
Yeah.
So I'm going with 35-30. The Packers win.
Ooh, okay. I definitely went. And I think because of that Rams defense, I went lower scoring. I have 27-20, but kept it close as well. Packers. All right. Our second game on Saturday is going to be the number 5 Baltimore Ravens versus the number 2 Buffalo Bills. The Ravens will win if blank.
So the Ravens need to continue to keep their defense up and running and strong.
Mm-hmm.
They do come out and do have a good defense, but it needs to just continue that pace. But they also need their passing game on offense. So this is actually a duel here. So it's not just, I know we're supposed to pick one thing, but their passing game needs to be up and tight.
Yes.
The Bills defense is very good at stopping the run. So their passing game needs to be on point. And we know Lamar loves to run the ball, but listen, you might have to switch things around, pull the old switcheroo on this weekend.
Yeah. Listen, my next prediction totally plays into yours, but the Ravens, I said the Ravens will win this one if I said it last week and I'll say it again. Lamar rushes for 100+ yards. So I did pick Tennessee to win that game, but I was like, hey, I said they would win if Lamar rushed for over 100, and he did.
Good take.
The Bills will win if blank.
So they don't need a dual threat offense. They need a triple threat offense. And by what I mean here is that they need to run the ball, they need to throw the ball, and Josh Allen needs to both throw it and run it.
Okay.
So he needs to be one of those key factors of the offense there.
Yeah.
He can dump it and he can, do whatever, but he also needs to be a key runner. Mm-hmm. So yes, they had to do all 3 things there.
Okay.
Because last week we didn't really see much of Stephon Diggs. I think I'll talk about that later, but we got to work him into the game a little bit more. He is one of literally the top receivers in the game. You got to work at people.
Yeah. I went with the Bills will win if, and this, like I said, it plays off of your first one, their defense forces Lamar to earn it through the air and not on the ground.
All right.
Earn it. Because honestly, like I know people want to say Lamar had a good game against the Titans.
Right.
And he did.
Right.
But he had a good game as a running back, not as a quarterback. He only threw for like 100-something yards. So honestly, like he has to earn it through the air.
People want to call him a dual threat quarterback, and I think that's fine. But
he's a run first quarterback.
He's a running quarterback.
Yeah,
he's a running.
The quarterback with the most passing yards will be blank.
Oh, sorry, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. The running back with the most rushing yards will be...
Go with Gus Edwards.
I'm going with the other Baltimore running back. I'm going with J.K. Dobbins.
All right.
The wide receiver with the most receiving yards will be blank.
I'm going to give it to you, Stephon Diggs, but the Bills, you got to work it in motion. You are so talented.
Crazy? I thought he had like a ton of yards left.
Maybe it was just the beginning of the game. Maybe
I thought he went over 100 yards.
Okay, okay. Maybe this was just the beginning of the game.
He had a very no. He did go over 100 yards. He had 30-something in the first half, but then he had like 70 or 80-something in the second half.
So
that's why I was like,
and here's okay, but still, you got to start. Maybe he's got to start off strong. That's
work him in the whole time. Yeah.
Full transparency, though, I was transitioning from New Jersey to Pennsylvania while the game was on. I was listening to it in the car, and I love listening on the radio, but sometimes I get distracted. So
Diggs had, I think, 136 yards.
Yeah, so apologies. He's got to start off. I'll change my answer. He's got to start off strong because what I was listening to, Stephon Diggs was nowhere in the picture.
He only had like 30-something in the first half.
All right.
And then exploded in the second.
There you go.
Yes, but apologies. I picked Stephon Diggs as well for this one. The MVP of the game will be blank.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. The final score of the game will be blank.
I'm going to go with 30-21 Buffalo Bills.
All right. I went a little bit higher. I went 38-30 Buffalo Bills. Mm-hmm. Sunday games. Number 5, Cleveland versus number 1, Kansas City Chiefs. The Browns will win if blank.
The Browns need to, and this is more so kind of like inspirational, I guess. They have to remain competitive and they can't lose sight of what they're trying to achieve. They are in the playoffs for the first time in how many years?
Yeah.
They've won a playoff game for the first time in how many years? You can't lose sight of that.
I mean, last week when I gave my prediction of the Browns will win if, my answer was they embrace being the underdog.
It's even like it's more of that. And it's just you just need to kind of just don't lose sight of what you're trying to achieve.
Absolutely.
Right now. So,
yeah, I know it sounds simple. Like I said last week, it kind of sounds simple and silly, but
lose sight very easily. You guys have seen them tank and at their worst, and it happens in an instant. So that's why.
Well, listen, they're getting their head coach back, and that's huge for them. And hopefully they can keep, riding this wave. But the Browns will win if the ground and pound law firm of Chubb and Hunt take over and keep Mahomes watching from the sideline. So similar to keeping Aaron Rodgers on the sideline and keeping that running game going. I mean, you've got Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
That has to be the key to the ball game for you.
Absolutely.
It really does. And I know Baker Mayfield's playing really well. I want to give him props. But you've got the best running back duo in the league.
Yeah.
Use them, make it work for you. And also, when I said that the Packers had probably the best offensive line, the Browns also had 2 or 3 guys on that all-pro list on the offensive line, too. You can run that ball. Get it done.
Do it.
All right, the Chiefs will win if blank.
They need to bring the Kansas City hype. They have not had a competitive football game since the second to last week in December, I think. They've had their bye. They're still kind of dealing with some injuries, too. And I'm talking about a competitive game for the Kansas City Chiefs. They need to go out and compete. Yeah. So again, this might sound simple for people. I'm like, oh, the Kansas City Chiefs are so good. They're just going to come out and stomp someone out. Hell to the no. That is not the case, especially for a Kansas City Chiefs team that, listen, 2 losses, and the kind of questionable. There was a lot of top teams this season that had questionable losses, questionable games.
You're right.
They were not under the radar here.
We had a sketchy 2020.
We had a very sketchy 2020.
And they were a part of that.
They were definitely a part of that. So do not think that they were all rested and all great coming into this game. They got to bring the hype, and they got to bring that strong Kansas City team. So, and if they don't,
Yeah, I hear you, girl. The Chiefs will win if Mahomes torches the Browns defense like Roethlisberger did in the second half. Except he does it for the full game.
He does it for the full game.
I mean, let's just be real. As much as we want to talk about the Browns, oh my God, they upset the Steelers and everything like that, we can't forget that they let them back into that game. That defense did. We saw Mahomes down in every playoff game he was in last year. Don't think if you build the lead, he could torch that defense. Absolutely. He really could. Absolutely. So you got to be careful, Browns.
Watch out.
No lead is safe when playing Patrick Mahomes. The quarterback with the most passing yards will be
Patrick Mahomes.
But I did really consider this one because Baker has been really racking up the yards. The running back with the most rushing yards will be blank. Nick Chubb. The wide receiver with the most receiving yards will be blank.
Tyreek Hill.
The MVP of the game will be
Mahomes.
I know it's not fun to always pick the quarterbacks, but it's Mahomes.
It's the NFL.
The final score of the game will be blank.
So it's kind of a close game for me. It's a little on the lower scoring side too. Not terribly low, but it's not 30. So I know a lot of the bettings, 50-point deficit, things like that. Maybe I'm not good at math. So I have 27-14 the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot lower than I have.
Those numbers look exciting to me.
I have the games close because this is my furthest point.
I think all of
this is my closest furthest point differential, which is 11 points, which is still a close game. I have 38-27 Chiefs. I do think it's going to be high scoring. Yeah. I do see that. And then last but not least, we have that division matchup, the third meeting between these two teams, Old Man Geezer versus Old Man Geezer.
Oh God, did you guys see the tweet that Tom Brady sent out?
On the history
absolutely hilarious.
It was great. It was gold. It was gold.
Drew Brees tweeted back. It was just all around good fun. I love that.
This is the first time these two
I just hope both teams have fun. That's all. When it comes to this, I thought it was hilarious. That was a great tweet.
This is the first time these two are meeting in the playoffs, which I know surprises some, but let's keep in mind that Brees played in the NFC and Brady played in the AFC for however. I know Brees was once with the Chargers 100 million years ago, but for the majority of their careers, they would have only met in the Super Bowl. So I'm not so surprised by this, but it's going to be a good one. The Buccaneers will win if blank.
I put Brady is 100% on because we did discuss this earlier where he did throw 3 interceptions in their second game and they only scored 3 points, so he was not on. And the team is 100% healthy. Mike Evans is likely to return this weekend, but is he at 100%? We don't know.
I like this one. If Big Ben can throw for 501 yards against Cleveland, what will Mahomes do? Exactly. So I'm definitely expecting that's why I'm saying Cleveland's defense has really got to have like their best game of the season. And obviously it's the playoffs. It's important, but like this, you're going up against the most elite offense in the NFL. So no sleeping, no sleeping on any play.
No sleeping.
The Buccaneers will win if the offensive line can keep Brady upright like they did last week for the most part against what I think is a really stellar Washington defense. So huge pass rush for Washington. I believe they only sacked Brady 3 times, which is a win in my book. So I think if they can, like I said, keep him upright, I think they'll be good to go. The Saints will win if blank.
They put pressure on Brady.
Yeah. I mean, this was mentioned before. I'm glad it was mentioned before. The Saints will win if they continue to force Tom Brady turnovers. He threw for 5 interceptions total in their 2 regular season matchups. I mean, that's like the biggest key stat for me in those first 2 matchups. So this has to be a really clean game from Tom Brady. And like I said, his offensive line needs to help keep him upright. And that will be the key to this game. The quarterback with the most passing yards will be blank. It's a tough one, right?
I'm going to go with Tom Brady.
I'm going Tom Brady too. The running back with the most rushing yards will be blank. Alvin Kamara. And the wide receiver with the most receiving yards will be blank.
If he plays 100%, Mike Evans.
Yes, Mike Evans. I think we totally agreed on like the majority of those. The MVP of the game will be blank.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean, we again agreed on all our picks, and I've got Tom Brady as well.
If we have the same score, I might jump out a window.
The final score. Is this my closest one?
This is my closest
This
one.
is my closest Drum roll. We get excited over stupid shit. The final score of the game will be blank.
Okay. Try to keep your composure. Don't show. Don't show.
I don't know if I have a good poker face. All right.
Look. I have 28-24.
I do not have
that. Okay.
We're close. We are very close. We're definitely on the same page. I have 30-27 Buccaneers.
Okay.
So we're very close. You have 28-24?
Yep.
So I have a 3-point difference. You have a 4-point difference, but we're right around that same one.
Oh, so that would have
very close.
It doesn't happen often, people.
No.
So now we're agreeing on all our picks, almost that whole scenario.
Crazy stuff. We do have bonus questions.
Oh, yes.
These are fun.
I did answer them, but I forgot about them.
Only 4, but I like these. My best, talking about ourselves, my best prediction from last week was blank.
So I spoke a lot about last week about going after the quarterbacks and our defense is having to be strong. So it did pan out for the Rams. They shut out Russell Wilson. And I brought about the Giants example last week where when the New York Giants played the Seattle Seahawks, we won that game because we made Russell Wilson look like a first-year rookie quarterback.
Right.
And that is exactly what the Rams did last week. But then I also kind of spun it because while I do believe Washington has a great defense and they did put a lot of pressure on Brady, I don't think they put enough pressure on Brady last week. Right. So I said in order for them to win, they had to put pressure on Brady. They didn't do enough. Those were my 2 good takes last week.
Well, this is funny because first game of the weekend, I started off real strong before we got 3 of them wrong. I started off hot, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going with my Indy Buffalo predictions. I predicted the top passer, receiver, and rusher correctly. And I also predicted Buffalo would win by 3, and they did. I didn't have the exact score, but I had them winning by 3, and I got that. So I was like, ooh, I'm off to a hot start. And then things got ugly real quick. But that was my best. My worst prediction from last week was blank.
I said Derrick Henry had to go off, and he clearly did
know,
not. And I also said Des Bryant was going to be one because I had a little fun with the game.
Yeah, she had fun with it.
And no, didn't happen.
That was a good one. That was a fun one.
I had fun, but obviously you try to have fun.
My worst prediction from last week was thinking that Seattle would beat the Rams by 11 points. They actually lost by 10. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I have to say how wrong I was, and I admit my defeats. Overall, predicting from the get-go, before the season started, that Seattle would make the Super Bowl. And I stuck by that. Like, we gave our halfway predictions. I said I had Seattle going.
Oh, well, I'm shooting myself in the foot for my picks this week. So for my
so I kind of gave like my whole scope of wow, like I didn't think that was going to
happen. Have the Saints playing the Bills. So clearly
She's still alive, people.
I'm going against myself though with picking the Bucks this week. So
right.
Bills Mafia. Woo.
All right. Well, my favorite game that I watched last week was blank.
So competitively and just like from a football standpoint, Baltimore and Tennessee, definitely an exciting game. And then I also I'll talk about this in a little bit. I did enjoy watching Chicago and New Orleans, but I will get into that in a little bit.
I actually have different from you. So I went with the Bills versus the Colts. It was the first game of the weekend, and it was very close, and I thought it was really exciting.
It definitely started. It was it
kicked things off well. Yeah. The matchup I'm most looking forward to this weekend is blank.
Baltimore and Buffalo.
I went Baltimore and Buffalo.
Wait, listen though, when I said earlier though, the Buccaneers and the Saints are like right behind it. Like,
well, I'm
so
praying
close
to God that those first two matchups that it's not the same in the third, where like New Orleans just blows them out. Like I don't know what to expect. I know we picked the Bucs, but like I really have no idea what to expect out of that game.
I want all games, no expectation.
But Bills versus Ravens, Lamar versus Josh, same draft. Lamar was the MVP last year. Josh is playing at an MVP level this year. And the Bills, honestly, have been the team that I've had the most fun watching this season. So I love it. I'm really excited. I think these are really good matchups. And I know we had some upsets and we have some 6 seeds playing 1 seeds, but those 6 seeds can make some noise. I mean, I think everybody's really excited to watch that Browns team.
I know.
So that's going to be that's going to be a really fun one as well.
I know we made our picks, like we provided a lot of details, but like I'm going into this weekend, no expectations.
No, after last weekend,
you can
0, zilch.
I think we were upset with our picks last weekend, but I'm not gonna be upset next weekend.
No,
it's okay.
Anything happens. Honestly, it's the playoffs. Anything happens.
Playoffs, whatever happens. All right, so it is that time of the night to get it off your chest. Positive, negative, football, housewives, wine, life, anything that you want to just let the people know.
Yeah.
So why don't you go ahead and let it go? Let it get it started.
I mean, this could have been a topic of discussion tonight because it's really like a big headline in the NFL right now.
Could have been for the last couple of weeks.
Yes.
And still will be for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to kind of give my 2 cents on the Deshaun Watson situation. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he hasn't really vocalized it too much but obviously there's whispers and rumors that, he's kind of unhappy in Houston. Who wouldn't be? I think even JJ Watt's unhappy. He came out and said all those things like that they weren't playing hard enough. And people are kind of predicting, like, is he going to request a trade? Is he going to be traded to another team? And I'm starting to think that it might come to fruition. It might happen. But my 2 cents is that I hope it does, because I think this franchise, the Houston Texans, I think they have done him dirty. And I want to just say that I think the biggest thing that I think Deshaun will forever be upset about is when they traded DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah. I mean, that was just, and then I even remember when there were whispers after Hopkins left, there were whispers about trading Will Fuller at the trade deadline, which then I think he came out and said, like, if they had done that, I would have been like, I would have been pissed.
DeAndre Hopkins for absolutely nothing. Yeah. And to my knowledge, they're not picking in this draft until like 57th overall. Like they've got nothing.
I don't know.
Like I could be wrong on like that actual number.
Yeah.
they're not picking for a very long time.
Well, listen,
with what?
I think they
Nothing.
also did him dirty by his offensive line has always been trash. He's been one of the most sacked He probably is the most sacked quarterback since he's entered the NFL.
But look when he goes out and produces still.
Yeah.
And I only know this because I'm not a Texans fan. I'm a fantasy football player, and he's been actually my guy.
He was a fantasy football stud.
Yeah, like
and he doesn't have weapons.
No, and that's how I know that. Look what he produces with nothing.
You hired Bill O'Brien, who was fine for a little while, but he stayed much longer than he should have. And then not only did he overstay his welcome, but then you also made him the GM. And then you just fired him right in the beginning of the season. What the hell was the point? What was your strategy there?
Yeah.
That was very dumbfounding. And then last I'm going to say is just, I truly believe that Deshaun Watson is, I'm not going to say he's better or just as talented or whatever as Patrick Mahomes. I think he's a little bit underneath him. I do think he's more talented than someone like Lamar Jackson, who was MVP of the league last year.
Right.
I think this is such a situational thing of him being in Houston where he's not able to reach his fullest Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson potential because it's being wasted where he is right now. Well, I want to see him go somewhere else. I really do.
Yeah, and I think it's fair. I think a lot of people do. A lot of his fan base, not only his fan base of non-NFL players, but NFL players have taken to social media and have
let him free.
Let him go. And even DeAndre Hopkins has made comments. Like it's just it's out there. Like it's out there. It's blatant. We all see it. You even look at the draft class though. Like you have guys like Mahomes that are in his spot doing great. You have Mitch Trubisky in that draft class, who now people are saying the Bears stay with him.
Starter,
and you're like, what the hell? Like, no,
you picked Nick Foles in like week 3 or week 4 or whatever, and we're already done with him.
We're like, what are we going on with now? So it's definitely tough to see everything unfold. But I just, you're right. He's a very quiet guy on it.
He is quiet, but you know what? I think he should do. Put it out into the universe. And I know that it's not. Feelers. I know it's not the most attractive thing to do.
An agent do it. Doesn't have to be him.
But I know, like, it's not the best look to like bitch and moan. But I just want to say, look what happened when Jamal Adams was really stubborn and did it.
And look where
he ended up leaving the Jets and playing in the playoffs with the Seahawks.
Absolutely.
I mean, sometimes maybe it pays to bitch and moan.
But to me, there's a difference between bitching and moaning and actually voicing your opinion when you're right and you deserve to move on.
And Texans 3rd round pick 6.
Yeah, so they're that far in the draft. That's their first pick. So that's what I'm saying. They got rid of DeAndre Hopkins. They got,
so that's annoying because he's not going to get any weapons.
There's nothing. They got rid of their best weapon for not only Deshaun Watson, for that entire team, for absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
You now have to wait until the 3rd. Yeah. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And then apparently there's rumors now too with looking for a new GM, head coach, things like that. He's nowhere in the process.
That was the other thing that he was upset about, is that he gave them a list of people that he wanted them to look at GM. They ignored his list, hired a guy, and he only found out about it through social media. So that's when it all came like crashing down, where now it's like the big headline of like, he needs to be out. He's not happy.
And
like,
listen,
whatever.
Like, don't like think that Katie and I are saying that the quarterback is like, the end all be all. They're making the decisions.
You don't make the decisions.
No, but you can still have a say in things.
Or even if you didn't want to look at his list, you could have still given him the heads up, like, we're about to hire this guy. Like,
or we're hiring a GM that's going to hire your new head coach that you have to agree with. That's going to probably wipe out your entire coaching staff.
Miami has 2 of their earlier picks. Houston.
Yeah. So I'm as mind-boggled as you are, and I would like to see better. I personally would like to see the Texans do him better.
Yeah, but I mean,
because
they don't have to do it in free agency because they don't have the draft picks.
And everyone's saying him coming to the Giants. Shut up! Everyone's saying him and Tua swapping.
You know what? You're hearing him everywhere. I've heard Chicago. I've heard San Fran. I've heard Miami. I'm hearing you're going to hear them all. You are. You're going to hear them all. So
it's like when we heard Russell Wilson to the Giants.
Oh my God.
Now, of course, yes. But like, stop. Don't stop. Stop.
I really enjoyed that for like the whole 2 minutes it happened.
All right. So mine is short and sweet to the point, but I do absolutely love. I did say earlier, one of my favorite games to watch this past weekend, was the Chicago Bears against the New Orleans Saints, because guess where I watched it? I watched it on Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon. I actually feared for a second that I actually did not get Nickelodeon. So I don't get Teen Nick, which is really annoying because that's where they show the old
shows.
So like, of course, some nights I get like nostalgic. I'm like, let me watch, the Rugrats or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't get Teen Nick, which is so stupid. I hate, I don't even know Optum. Like, I hate you. I don't get that. But I do get regular Nickelodeon. So I thought it was very interesting. Obviously, CBS owns, I think it's like Viacom, CBS, they own Nickelodeon. So it's like, let's do the show. But it was different. They were going to do a playoff game in Nickelodeon fashion. Very young, very animated, splat, all this stuff. So, of course, I think everyone going into Sunday was like, what the hell is going on here? What are we doing? Some people were a little nervous because they were showing it on Amazon Prime and Nickelodeon. Not everyone realized that they were showing it on CBS also. So everyone was like, wait,
I watched it on CBS.
I only have two options, Amazon Prime and Nickelodeon. Yeah. I was like, wow.
It did worry me at first. It's like, is this only a Nickelodeon option? What am I signing up for?
There was the 3 options, though. So I did watch the beginning. I watched about 5 minutes on the Nickelodeon, was getting into it, whatnot. And then I had to, go over because it was very much so they were explaining it towards little children. So they explained every single rule, every single thing going on. So I switched back over to CBS. Soon enough, the game became very boring.
Yeah.
And very high.
It was the biggest blowout of the weekend. Yeah.
And so we were just kind of whatever. So I flipped back to Nickelodeon. I think they did a phenomenal job.
They made it more entertaining.
They made it way more entertaining. The Twitterverse was going up and crazy because they were just making so many references to old school Nickelodeon. They were making references to Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara, to Patrick Star and SpongeBob SquarePants. Like, it just, honestly, it's hilarious. They interviewed all the guys before the game, got their favorite Nickelodeon shows, their favorite
the slime
food.
cam go off on
Oh my God, the slime cam, the best tweet I saw.
I did see who was it got slimed after Sean Payton got slimed after the game.
Got slimed after, but the slime in the end zone on the touchdowns, obviously it was like CGI. It was not real.
Yeah.
But someone tweeted out,
I think it was real.
I know. NFL memes tweeted out. It was it was a video from Family Guy. I don't know if you guys are into that, but there's a one episode where someone gets stem cell research and it's clearly fine. And it's a quote from Peter Griffin. He's like, why are we not funding this? So and they made a point to put the video out after the slime for the touchdown.
Yeah.
Why are we not funding this? I thought it was hilarious because it was such a good addition to the thing. So again, I just thought they did a great job.
We have a comment, by the way, and I kind of want to ask you your opinion. I want to watch old episodes of Hey Dude. If you could only watch old episodes of one Nickelodeon show, what would it be?
Oh, God, that's such a hard one. It would probably be something like Double Dare, Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Ooh, I was thinking cartoon.
I mean, I loved Rugrats was my favorite show growing up.
Yeah.
And,
I would probably say like Doug or Hey Arnold.
Yeah. No, I love, we need to bring back Legends of the Hidden Temple or Double Dare, things like that.
They should put it on Netflix.
Yeah, or Guts. Oh my God.
Yeah,
so good.
Wild and Crazy Kids.
They need to put all these on Guts. So I do have a couple of, kind of just questionable things. So one of my things was, and this goes into one of the comments we got on YouTube, so thank you. They just went into their regular scheduled programming after the game on Nickelodeon. They had such a wild fan base of people our age. They should have just went on to all the old reruns.
You're right.
Listen, the
viewership would have been, the numbers would have been off
the charts. We had a game to watch at 8:20. We know we had, and I think I tweeted this, but I low-key wasn't really watching because I was tired.
Footballed out.
I was tired. Clearly, when I saw the score,
we get footballed out sometimes.
Obviously, when I saw the score, I was like, I need to pay attention, Galen. Oh my God. Yeah. But if you had an audience watching Nickelodeon,
missed opportunity.
You should have a whole reruns all night. I wouldn't have gone to bed. Yeah. Tired from football? Absolutely. Tired from old Nickelodeon shows? Never.
You had us in the palm of your hands and let us get away.
And then I do have a hot take here. I might get, killed by our following or killed by some people. So 2 of the commentators for the Nickelodeon game are actual professional sports commentators. They did a great job. I'm blanking on their names right now. I apologize. They did have someone from the new All That. They do have a new All That she is a female. And she just had no idea what the hell was going on.
That's
and
annoying.
A lot of like when they would go to her for like amateur, we're amateurs, but it's okay, we're fine. It was like they would go to her for like takes, and she'd be like, "I just think they need to go all in here." I was kind of like,
that's a blanket statement.
What the hell does that mean? She
had like plug in sentences.
She didn't know what was going on. She did like a Cardi B imitation at one time, and it didn't really make sense. So overall, great for the kids at home, very young kids who are trying to learn football, watch football, and have fun. I don't think you could sit a 5-6-year-old in front of a regular NFL game and have them, unless they're like very brilliant in sports and understand everything. This was just like a fun way to watch.
I think 100% a really good way to get kids into it.
And they
like you said, get kids
everything.
to fully watch it. Well, I watch games on Nickelodeon? No. But to get a kid audience, that's a great idea.
I think they should have more games.
And some adults honestly love the Nickelodeon version better.
And some adults need to watch it to learn the freaking rules. So, because some of you guys on Twitter have no idea what you're talking about. But that's my
Twitter world.
Oh, Twitter.
All right. Well, things that you don't want to miss this week. We have Real Housewives of Orange County on tonight at 9:00. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City on tonight at 10. I did not realize this is supposed to only be like a 13-episode season.
Oh, so is it over?
Which kind of wouldn't surprise me, because if you look at the timeline of things, it looks like they're about to head into like coronavirus, like the peak of it. Okay. So they probably just didn't know where to go with it. And we're like, it's a new franchise. Let's end it at 13 seasons and do a reunion. They have filmed the reunion. Andy said it was great. But yes, that is on tonight at 10. Real Housewives of Atlanta on Sunday at 8 p.m. Real Housewives of Dallas on Tuesday at 9. Like we said, the divisional round Saturday games, Rams versus Green Bay at 4:35 p.m. Baltimore versus Buffalo at 8:15 p.m. Sunday games, Cleveland versus Kansas City at 3:05 p.m. and Tampa Bay versus New Orleans at 6:40 p.m. Don't miss out. These are going to be great games.
It's a long weekend too, so stay up late on Sunday. It's a long weekend for most people, but
what is it?
It's Martin Luther King Day on Monday.
Oh, I don't know if I got to look into that.
I do. I'm going away.
I got to check that.
Eyeball, so I know. All right.
Toodles.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Good night.